Welcome to the holidays here in Chicago, Illinois. Just got through with Christmas, just got through with New Year's, and very much looking forward to a happy and healthy 2023. If you, like me, are in the midst of an ERP site launch, you know that these can be both the best of times and the worst of times. Today, I'm going to share the things I like best about Oracle ERP Cloud, and I'm also going to share what I dislike about Oracle ERP Cloud. Finally, if you like what you see here, please hit the like button and subscribe to get notified about future videos. Hello, my name's Joe Logan, and I'm glad you're here. My guess is you're here for one of three different reasons. First, you may just want to learn a little bit more about Oracle ERP Cloud. You have an interest. Hey, it may be a hobby. Second, your organization may have asked you to look into the different options available today, and they're looking to replace their existing ERP system. Third, you may have already made that decision and have purchased Oracle ERP Cloud. You're having second thoughts, and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the platform from somebody who's implemented this multiple times and who could maybe help you out with my experience. Either way, I've got you covered. So one thing I wanted to call your attention to before we get started was the use of the term Oracle Fusion. So sometimes you'll hear people call Oracle ERP Cloud Oracle Fusion. Not going to get into the history, and if people want to talk about the history, that's fine. It's not interesting to me at all. It just goes back to 2010 when Oracle started adding these applications, best-in-class applications, and they put it on the Fusion middleware, and it started to be called Fusion. But now, anytime you hear the term Oracle Fusion, you can use that interchangeably with Oracle ERP Cloud. It means the same thing for all intents and purposes. So now I'd like to share with you the 6 things I like most about Oracle ERP Cloud. Number 6, speed of implementation. So for those of you who have been involved with an on-premise ERP project where you have to purchase the hardware, set up the software, build the system, set up the infrastructure, that could take several months. In Oracle ERP Cloud, or in fact any cloud-based ERP platform, that literally can be turned on over the weekend. So it really eliminates a big part of the upfront effort on the project. On the implementation side, since cloud typically encourages standard processes, the distance between what comes out of the box and what you end up delivering is a lot shorter than if you're building a custom solution. So what comes out of the box in an on-premise system where you can basically code whatever you want, and what you roll out is usually a lot further along. So it's much quicker to implement an ERP cloud system than an ERP on-premise system. Number 5, lower cost of ownership and maintenance. So with a cloud platform, you typically can get by with, let's say, a $1 billion company having maybe 3 or 4 people focused on supporting the system after it goes live. A big part of it, again, is you don't have to worry at all about the infrastructure. That's handled by Oracle. But also, because of the nature of the non-customized aspect of the platform, there's not a lot of normal maintenance that you would do with an on-premise platform. I've heard stories where companies that still have mainframe system could have maybe 20 or 30 people focused on support of the system. So certainly with ERP Cloud, it doesn't require that much support. Now, it depends how much you try to move away from the standard best practice. The more you move away from that standard, the more support you'll need. But typically, if you can stick with the standard throughout the project, the level of support is extremely low, and it really makes ERP and the effort involved in upkeep much less than it had been in the past, especially with Oracle ERP Cloud. One of the reasons why people go with a Tier 1 solution is because it can offer a very wide variety of applications and functionality that usually can span across your entire organization. Smaller companies that only offer very specific things like financials or HCM require you to purchase multiple products from multiple vendors. And that makes the vendor management aspect much more difficult. It doesn't lead to consistency across the applications. So having one look and feel across all ends of the spectrum for your organization is very appealing to most customers, and it's something that I particularly enjoy about Oracle. Now we get into the good stuff. So one of the best reasons to go with a cloud solution like Oracle ERP Cloud specifically is because it really doesn't allow you to customize, at least in the traditional way. So I can't go in like in the old days and write Java code or whatever language that ERP was written in and basically change the system to be whatever the customer wants it to be. And that's actually appealing because 9 times out of 10, those customizations really aren't necessary and just lead to chaos in the future. That's what requires you to have so much support and ongoing maintenance is when you do those things. So Oracle in the cloud, you can't go in and change that code because basically you'd be changing the code for all of their customers who are on the same instance as you are. So that to me is very appealing. And when customers come and ask for a very specific customization that for them is so differentiating, you basically tell them that, you know what, this basically it requires you to go with a standard best practice. And really, when you talk about it and you talk to the customer about it, it usually is good enough and it's not worth all the trouble. So that's something particularly for me appealing about a cloud solution like Oracle. The second best thing I like about Oracle ERP Cloud is how it scales to your business. Now, the fact that it runs quarterly updates, meaning it offers hundreds upon hundreds of new features and functionality every quarter, ensures that you're always on the current version and it's scaling with your business. And the good thing is it does listen to the voice of the customer and it feeds all of that into their engineering teams. So they listen to the customer and they provide those updates on a regular basis. Now, for me, this is the absolute best thing about Oracle ERP Cloud. And I guarantee you it will be the best thing for your CEO as well. That this is the last ERP project that company will ever have to embark upon. You will never have to do another ERP project again.
Get out of the way. Go.
I mean, is there anything more disruptive to a company than going through and having to replace the ERP system? The financial, supply chain, HCM, procurement, there's nothing more disruptive. It actually absolutely destroys the business while that's going on. So to do it once and to make that the last time, to me, that's the biggest reason that you should go with Oracle ERP Cloud. Now, a non-cloud solution like S/4HANA, it's very likely that 4 or 5 years down the road, you're going to have to do an upgrade. Because essentially, when you put in that system, it's static from that time until you do the upgrades on your own. And most of the time, people don't have the appetite to go through upgrades. So they'll push it off, and then 5 years, 10 years later, it's so far behind and they absolutely have to do the upgrade. And then again, you're talking a couple years of just, disruption and people getting angry and people wishing they can stick with the old system. To not have to go through that again, to me, is worth the money of putting in Oracle ERP Cloud on its own. Now it's time for me to share the things that I dislike about Oracle ERP Cloud. Number 6, and this really doesn't have anything to do with the actual product, but the ability to staff and support the product. Although Oracle ERP Cloud has been around for some time now, it's still relatively new, and the talent pool simply isn't there to meet the demand yet. So the ones that are available, the big consultant firms get their hands on them and they scoop them up pretty quickly. So the challenge is bringing talent internal to your organization. So I spoke before about one of the benefits of ERP Cloud, Oracle ERP Cloud, is that it's easier to support, which is true. But getting the talent in for the support that you do need is where the challenge lies. So you have to become creative, and if you find somebody good and he's willing to work for a company and not a consulting firm, you should hold on to them like grim death because they're very hard to find, and I guarantee you they'll be very expensive. Number 5, there's still a lot of limitations in Oracle ERP Cloud in what you can configure. It's getting better, and I think I mentioned in the things I like about Oracle ERP Cloud is that it does have some limitations on what you can do, but it's good when it's pushing you towards a standard best practice, but when there's basic things that it can't accomplish without some sort of third-party tool or a manual process, then those limitations begin to hurt. Again, it is getting better, but it's still a gap in my opinion. Number 4, and this is something I really dislike about Oracle and the product team surrounding Oracle ERP Cloud. It's very obvious to me that when they produce or when they look at new features to add and listen to the voice of the customer, sorry about the train noise outside, you can tell the ones that they decline and say they're not going to pursue are the ones that really will likely not lead to any new customers. Even if it's a basic need, and there's a lot of these in the different areas, especially quality, one that I'm recently working on, where it's very clear that they're not going to gain another customer if they make this change. And it seems to me like that's really letting down their existing base and just focusing on grabbing market share. So I hope that gets better, and I hope they consider their product mature enough now where they can start doing that. But right now, it's definitely a gap for me. Number 3, the integration between the various Oracle modules is horrible. You talk about, right now I'm working on the project that involves WMS, and there is almost no native integration between WMS and ERP. We have 3 full-time OIC developers just working on integrating these two products, which are both Oracle. And the more disappointing part is when they market their products and you're competing with a different WMS vendor, they espouse that native integration as one of the reasons you should go with Oracle. But it's almost never the case. The same is true when you look at things like CPQ in ERP or Sales Cloud, their CRM product in ERP, or the web platform, the e-commerce, again, advertising. The integration is absolutely awful. They admit it privately, and they are working on it. But right now, if you're going to choose Oracle ERP, a separate module, whatever that is, and you're doing it because you like the fact that it's Oracle to Oracle and the integration will be easier, it's not true. So be prepared for that. However, if you think about the future, I'm pretty confident that Oracle will catch up and develop that because, again, most of these products were acquired, so it takes them some time to do that integration. So in the future, it might be helpful, but right now, it's not helpful. Number 2, ERP Cloud is still lacking a lot of the features that were available in EBS, Oracle's previous on-premise version, which is going to be supported, I believe, all the way through to 2030. Not surprising because Oracle basically over time is implementing more and more of the features that are currently available in EBS. So I think it'll take time for them to get there. But don't expect out of the box to get an upgrade if you're going from EBS to ERP Cloud. You will get the benefits of going to the cloud system that I talked about before. But if you think that all of a sudden your team's going to gain a whole bunch of efficiency and have less issues, that's not going to be the case. Again, because Oracle's still developing the product, not quite mature yet, certainly not as mature as EBS, but getting there. And I was just reviewing some of the requests that the customers put in the Idea Lab, and there's still a lot of things out here. I highly suggest if you're not a member of Oracle Cloud Customer Connect to join it. And you can see that there's a whole bunch of ideas here that have been submitted. Some of them have been released. Like here's a good one that has been released. In fact, this is the ability to add the customer part number in order entry. So we have our own part numbers, but sometimes when customers buy repeatedly from us, they put their own part number in their ERP system. So it'd be good to have those things together in order entry. Right now, or at least in the past, it was really kind of kludgy. You had to build that relationship in the item master, and it was really ugly. So this will be very helpful for customer service for sure. But again, Oracle ERP Cloud right now does not have all the same functionality that you found in EBS. So this is the thing that most people dislike about Oracle ERP Cloud, especially when they're new to it. In the past, if you had a mainframe system or something that was SQL-based where you owned the database and you controlled it, you could do an import, let's say, of customer data or item data or supplier data. And if somebody made a mistake and you get it into the system and you realize that you didn't put the right links between a customer address and a customer account number or whatever, and it's completely wrong, right? None of us have done that before, I'm sure. But that could happen. And when it does, in the past, you just say, we're going to wipe that out and do it again. In Oracle ERP Cloud, you really can't do that. You can't just go in and say, hey, Mr. Oracle, we just need to delete those 20 million records we loaded in your system. Could you please do that for us? You can't do that. So if hopefully you did this in a test system or a dev system and you fix these issues before it goes into production where you would really be in trouble. But if you do it in dev or in test, what you have to do, let's say for items, if you loaded the items and they're just completely wrong and you have to kind of start over, you really have to change a lot of data, maybe prefix it with an E or an F, every piece of data, and try it again so that you'll have basically double the amount of data in there, and then you're using an entirely different data set. It's explainable, okay, because this is a cloud system. You don't own the database. You can't just go in there and start, deleting a bunch of records and lookups and stuff like that when there's other people on that system, other customers on that system. But that's just an excuse. They have to figure that out because it slows everything down. It really requires you to spend way too much time on validation than you should have to, because a lot of the times you don't see things until they're in the system. So for me, the ability to just delete a whole bunch of data and start over is really critical for cloud adoption. So I really hope they make progress in that area next year. So now I'd like to give you one bonus benefit of going to Oracle ERP Cloud. I didn't put it in my top 6 because to me it was so obvious, and it wasn't really just Oracle that does this. It's really any cloud platform where you get this feature. The fact that you can do almost every single thing in your ERP system from your phone is absolutely massive, especially for people who are more apt to use their phone than their desktop, and I think that's the direction the world is going. The ability to be wherever you are, and as long as you have your phone with you, you could do every single thing, almost every single thing that you could do on a desktop or a laptop on your phone. So that is absolutely huge, especially when you get into things like reporting and looking at real-time transactional information. The need to have to go home and get on your desk and VPN in, all of those things are really for days of yore. So huge benefit to go to the cloud, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people are moving away from on-prem solutions and going into the cloud. So massive benefit, not directly attributable to Oracle specifically, but it certainly is why a lot of people are moving in this direction. Before we close here, I just want to make it clear that I'm not championing for Oracle in any way. It just happens to be, where my focus has been for the past 6 years, so that's what I can speak to. Moreover, I would say that there isn't much difference in terms of value to an organization within the tier 1 players like SAP, S4HANA, Infor-LN, QAD, Microsoft Dynamics 365, there's probably others. So just want to be clear that this is absolutely not an advertisement for Oracle in any way, shape, or form. In fact, most of what you find today in ERP has become more or less commoditized, and they can all work for you. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video.